So I want to show y'all my pet snake. Now, this is Virtue. Virtue is a snake that, it's actually my first snake. My first, it's my first, no, I had a tortoise. So this is my first pet snake. It's a corn snake. Got him in August of last year, August of 2024. And this is a chill, fun snake. It's a corn snake. There's two things that I don't know about him that I should know, but they didn't have that information when I got him. So it's I don't have the age, and I don't have its sex. So sometimes I say he, sometimes I say she. So what I did was I gave Virtue a unisex name. So yeah, the name is Virtue, and really nice snake. So I think when you're gonna go buy a snake as a beginner, I think the two most popular options are corn snake, which is this, or a ball python, which is a very relaxed snake. Now, when I was choosing what I wanted to get, I wanted a snake that was gonna be active and fun for my nieces to play with. Well, not play with, but get to hold and things like that. I just knew that the ball python was really chill, and it's just gonna sit in your hand, and there's nothing wrong with that. I guess it just depends on what you're looking for. Because me personally, I think in my future, I want to get myself a ball python as well, and just have both, have a corn snake and a ball python. So yeah, I've had Virtue almost like 10 months, no, maybe like 8 months now. However, August to March is. So I just want to put y'all on some stuff about if you're planning on getting one, what to expect, and how to care, stuff like that. As far as care goes, super easy. Easier care than a dog, like literally easier care than a dog. Virtue gets fed once a week. And I know one big fear that people have when thinking about getting a snake is you have to feed it rats or mice. Now, going into it, I wasn't really looking at it as like a big difference between a rat and a mice. I'm like, I don't want to deal with rodents. That was one of my big things, is like, I don't want to feed it rodents. I don't mess with rodents. Until I realized there's definitely a big difference between a rat and a mouse. Now, a rat, it's bigger, obviously, but it's also more aggressive and can fight back. So there's two ways to feed snakes. You can feed it frozen thawed, or you can feed it live. I did frozen thawed for about first couple months, but I choose to do live, just as far as better enrichment. The hunt is on. Virtue is a constrictor, which means it's one of those snakes that bites, wraps up the prey, strangles it, and then swallows it. So, same thing with a ball python. That's also constrictor. Yeah. So that was something I was looking for, was how is it gonna eat? So it did the frozen thawed, but it just felt like it was missing something. So I've been doing live now for the past couple months, and it's just been, I think Virtue likes that better. And also, you don't have to thaw it out. Like I also didn't like having to thaw the mouse and all this stuff. Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of that. So, but you will have to feed it mice. Now, there are snakes where you don't have to feed it mice, or rats, which are like garter snakes. I know you could feed that one, I think, fish, like little pieces of fish and worms and stuff like that. That's the only snake I could think of is a garter snake. Another thing is Virtue here. This corn snake falls under the species of colubrids. I don't know much about colubrids. This is all just things that I've learned over owning the snake. So a colubrid is one. The corn snakes are colubrids, and also king snakes are colubrids. So like a king snake would be like a milk snake. There's also this black one that I really love. It's called a Mexican black king snakes. But the only thing with king snakes that kind of shied me away from getting a king snake instead of a corn snake was just the fact that I just think they bit a lot. Like they were always like bitey and striky. Not that it would hurt really, because even though I've never gotten bit by a snake, I just know about bite force and size and all these things. So, you know, it wouldn't hurt like a python, I'd assume. But I don't want a snake that was just striking at me all the time. Virtue has never striked at me, never bit me. I never gotten bit by a snake, like I said, but I gotten flinched at by a snake. I was holding a ball python at a reptile store, and that joint, it flinched at me, scared the mess out of me. But Virtue's just chill. Virtue is nocturnal. I think there are some corn snake species that are diurnal, and there are some snake species that are also diurnal, but Virtue is nocturnal, which means he's very alert at night. That's when he does his going around and all this stuff and going throughout his enclosure. Daytime, sleeps. Super cool with people. Beautiful colorway. Had about maybe 5 sheds since I've had him. Really curious, loves to go everywhere. Now, here's one thing is I lost my snake for a month. Now, how did that happen? I didn't know what I was doing. And what I mean by that is I didn't do my research. I listened to the people at Petco who told me, man, you don't need no kind of hard, like no kind of strong top, just use this weighted top that we have for your enclosure. Yeah, so I had a 10-gallon enclosure. The people at Petco, hey, listen, don't listen to Petco, okay? People at Petco and PetSmart, they don't know reptiles, okay? I don't even know if they know animals, man. Just go to an actual reptile store. But anyway, I put Virtue back because I could tell he was ready to go back. So yeah, he's came about, lifted the top with his head, came out, lost him for a month. Looked everywhere, heater, under the fridge, every dark little corner where a snake would go, checked everywhere, didn't find him. Found him under this thing I have for my door a month later. Definitely an escape artist. You need to have either just any kind of very secure lid. I went from a sliding one with the pins. I had that on a 10-gallon with a pin, then upgraded to a 20-gallon with 2 pins. Now I have a 40-gallon with 4 knobs at the top that lock it down. So another thing is enclosure size. When you get the baby, you can have them in a 10-gallon. Then they get a little bit bigger, then you'll see that they need 20-gallon. But the best thing is, and there's 2 different opinions on this, but one opinion is gradually go up in enclosure sizes. Go from 10-gallon, then they get bigger, go to 20, 30, 40. The thing, if you go from 10, 20, 30, 40 gallon, and if you want to go bigger than that, 75 gallon, 125 gallon, is you're gonna keep spending money on different size tanks. And tanks can be expensive. If you just buy, now a corn snake can fully grow, it's supposed to get between 3 to 5 feet, sometimes 6 feet. A corn snake can fully grow in 40-gallon enclosure. Like that size, it can live out its life in there. But some people believe that, and I don't know if it's true because I didn't do it this way, but if you start your baby snake off in a 40-gallon enclosure, that they can get overwhelmed, become stressed, never come out because it's just too big. But over time, the snake will grow in there and it'll become more used to that 40-gallon enclosure. But for a while, it's not gonna be a good life for the snake in the beginning when it's a baby because of it just being too big. And I'm not saying that's true or that's false. I think it just depends on that specific snake, that specific corn snake. I didn't do it that way, so I don't know. I did it 10, 20, 40. And then I want to get a bigger one than that. I want to get a 60 gallon. I really want to get a 125 gallon. I saw one the other day, but it was so wide. It's like, I don't know where I'm going to put that. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, it's bigger. It might be the same size as my arm span. Like, it might be the same size as my full arm span, man. It was crazy big. It might be even bigger than that. But I just don't have a space for that right now. Like, that's just crazy. Yeah, so you feed it once a week. It needs water. One big thing that people go back and forth about is humidity. For me, I haven't really had a big problem with humidity. It's all humidity and temperature. Good humidity and good temperature will give your snake a good shed. I think that's what the most important thing on if your snake's gonna have a good shedder. All Virtue sheds have been full sheds, like perfect, but I keep the humidity and the temperature within its right range. So for humidity, I keep between 50 and 70 for my snake. And the temperature, I keep between 75 and 85. It can go to 70, it can go to 90, but my normal temperature for my snake is between 75 and 85. That works for me. My snake's cool with it. I do recommend to get a corn snake or a ball python. I think they're both cool pets. And yeah, try it for yourself.